It don't go. I don't play grown at all. Hush. Hush. Let's softly. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Just checking. Now let me tell you, not because I have on my cool shades, doesn't mean I can't see you. I can see you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are you going to rock with me? So jump with me! Hey, jump! It don't go. I don't play a crowd, I know. Only for attention, troubles around. All right, I want everybody run with me now. Oh, hey, don't, don't let go of me, say, country people. When we get over me, say, we talk so vital. You are really not big space. Father, help me. Some nam no other mercy. Help me. Preserve Jamaica beauty. Oh yeah. So we say protect your people, Jah. Hush. You feeling all right? What is the Taurus, Riley? Me say you to believe in respect. I want to big up my big brother. Where they smash all the players. The one and only Miguel Collins, Sizzla Kalanji. Make some nice for Sizzla Kalanji. Make some nice for Julian Marley. Make some nice for Dexter Daps. We represent Jamaica in fine style. And we are a musical family. Right now, I want to big up my brother. I'm in a mix up in our people business. The music is bigger than all flesh. So I go big up my brother. And him tell you, listen, respect the hustlers in the street. Respect everyone that we meet. Respect goes out to you. And respect my Amsterdam family. Put up your hand if you're feeling irate. And wave, wave. So when me say, look at the youth them. Watch it. Me not done. Me not done. Me not done. In Jamaica means I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I want to sing a song for the ladies now. Oh yeah. Oh nice to know, yeah. Let's do it again. You know we did it on a woman, I wanna be more than just friends. Do ya? Hey, no, yeah, let's do it again. Me not done, so me know you not done. So jump. Right, I me say look at the youth them. Watch them, Babylon them, a bus them, shot them. The police and the cops and your children. Are you alone? Alright, good I go to Puppy. And then the place I go. Well then don't make it get over. And when politics and religion are the celestial. So protect your people, Jah. No make we get caught in a crossfire. And you protect you. Hey, we no want be no lamb to no slander, no. Protect your people, Jah. I wanna say, Babylon start this wildfire. Protect your people, Jah. Confident in you. No, you're not gonna pay. When the enemy's trying them afraid. Scatter, scatter.
All right, see the people, see the people. Good night, good evening, good night, good evening. Right? Welcome and welcome to Wild Thoughts and JMRB Media, coming to you live from way out west, California. Now it's 11:29, almost 11:30. Right? Almost midnight. Right? So, yeah. Maybe need to call this show something late night something, but Wild Thoughts is it, right? Because the thoughts are really wild, right? And Yeah, that's what I'm working with, right? And I have a lot to talk about tonight. So tonight, discussion is going to be pretty much compact. I didn't do a live last week, so I'm going to kind of blend what I wanted to talk about last week with this week because the issues are only getting older, right? And then you may be passionate about something, and then all of a sudden, it's just you just don't have that fire anymore to even talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about them, just a little bit, right? Not too much. I'm just gonna touch them, and then go on to the next. So right. So and I'm coming off the cuff again, just off the top of my dome. No script. We're just gonna let it rip, right? Yeah. There we go. Right. But first and foremost, right, I want to say RIP to One Stock, right? And I'm gonna pause it there for now so I can introduce you or what I mean when I say RIP to One Stock, right? I'm a fan of drag racing. I'm a fan of street racing, right? There's nothing more fun than when they close down the street. There's a regular street, that cars drive on, every day. You close it down and, you bring the people out and you're having some fun drag racing, right? I like that. I come from that culture, right? In Jamaica, right? I used to go to a place called Orange Park, right? For those who know where that is, it's in a place called Golden Grove, right? Close to Walker's Wood. So anybody eat the that little jerk sauce, and it says Walker's Wood, yeah, close by there. There's a nice little stretch, quarter-mile stretch, in a place called Golden Grove. I don't know if it's still happening in Golden Grove right now, but that's where it used to happen. And everybody used to come out on a Sunday night. So if I was in Jamaica around this time of night, I would be in Orange Park possibly, or anywhere there's a street racing going on, right? Because I don't partake in it per se. Um, as a driver, I never partake in it. I was pretty young. I didn't have a car, but I like going and watch the events, right? And just enjoy the festivities. People would be out. A lot of people would be out. On the side of the street. A lot of cars parked up, people just standing on the side of the street, on both sides of the street, watching, the racing, and people are betting on their favorite car, their favorite driver slash favorite cars. The peanut guy is out, the sugarcane guy is out, the jerky, the jerk man is out, right? Everybody is out, right? And everybody's having a good time, right? And it's normally good, clean fun. There's no fights. There's no nothing like that. It's just good, clean fun, and I like that. And I still follow up with the culture. I follow the culture through vloggers like our content creators, like Skunk Lifestyle, right? Lifestyle settings. Um, JA Motorsports, right? Those are the vloggers that I watch. I keep up with the Jamaican drag race culture through, right? Um, yeah, and I watch it, in spots here, in the United States, where they have, events, and I'll go, and if I can't go, I will. I'll watch it. I'll catch up on the videos and stuff like that. It's just something I like to watch. That's one of my favorite pastimes, right? Including sports, right? But however, a couple weeks ago, um, I want to say sometime in October, Skunk Lifestyle, and who doesn't know Skunk Lifestyle, is this Asian Jamaican guy slash racer, right? He's in racing as well, right? He vlog, racing. He travels, throughout the Caribbean, the United States. He covered the drag racing culture in Jamaica as well. And he's an Asian guy, right? If anybody ever watched the Valiant music video called Speed Off, right? Speed Off, Jesus. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. That music video, right? The Asian dude that is sitting beside Valiant in the car, that's Skunk Lifestyle, right? Or Nick Lou, right? Never met the guy in real life, but I know him through his vlogs, right? I also met Stock through Nick Lou's vlog or Skunk Lifestyle vlog. But a few weeks ago, he was in New York because Stock is a Jamaican, but he lives in New York and he does drag racing there and slash street racing, right? He has I think it's the fastest M340, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the fastest M340 BMW. Yes, BMW, right? And that engine is called a B58, right? So they call him the B58 King because he's the first one to do it with a B58. Nick Lou himself, Skunk Lifestyle, has the same BMW, right? That he raced with in Jamaica, right? And he was inspired by One Stock, right? Um, and the car was pretty fast. It's an 8 second car, right? So it's pretty fast. That thing is a rocket, right? And he brought the Jamaican street racing culture to New York and inspired a lot of youngsters. Right, there's so many youngsters speaking of him, and how he inspired them to actually get in the race. I'm talking about like black dudes in New York, right? Latino dudes in New York, right? They all hold him in high regards, right? But anyway, a few weeks ago, Nick Lou went up there. He followed them down to Florida to a huge motorsports event. He was vlogging One Stock. He was vlogging Empire House, which is a BM. They mostly work on like BMWs, right? Make them faster, swoop them up, right? Um, and M Life, and a few other guys, right? And One Stop was one of them. And this guy, when I say I met this guy because of his personality just grabs you, right? It's infectious, right? He has a very infectious personality, so kid-like, so jovial, so happy. You know what I mean? Love life and love racing, right? Love street racing, right? And yeah, so that was in October. Earlier this month, he passed. Yeah, he passed. He passed doing what he loved, street racing. He was street racing, and something happened. The car got out of control, and that was the end, right? Weeks later, right? And a lot of people is in mourning, right? A lot of people is in mourning. The entire New York, I'm telling you, they shut down, the town, right, for them to do a balloon release for him, right? And there was so many young guys, saying that, hey, look, I got this type of car, I got that type of car. The reason why I got it because of One Stock, right? Because of One Stock, and everybody hailed him as the B58 King, right? He's the first one to do it on that platform and had the fastest B58 in the world, right? Um, which that's kind of technical for a lot of people, but it's a M340 BMW, right? Um, I I don't want to be too descriptive about the accident. There's stuff on YouTube if you want to go find it, right? But if you want to hear more about it, you can go on YouTube and go to Skunk Lifestyle, SKUNK, right? Lifestyle, and check out his channel, right? And then you also have where is this one? Blacks VQ, right? Blacks VQ. That's another channel. That's one in New York. They videoed the balloon release, right? Um, Celebrating his life, right? But it was just so quick. Like I don't think I believe it even until this point, right? Because I said it was a couple weeks ago. Like Skunk was over there and he was videoing everybody. He was vlogging everybody, and Weinstock was there. He went down to Florida. He did all the racing stuff down there, right? Shipped their car back up to New York, right? And he went back up there, did a vlog. They actually went on the street in the middle of the night. They were just a spur of the moment thing. They went on the street, you know, because they were mouthing off at each other, and they just like decided, hey, look, let's go to the streets. Let's take it to the street. Let's settle it, right? And he did win that race between him and Merrick. Okay. And Merrick is, I think, is the owner of Empire House, right? And he has a G80, right, which is a pretty fast BMW as well. And yeah, it's so tragic, right? But a lot of people will probably would say, well, you shouldn't be street racing and all that stuff. But I mean, that's what the dude loved, man. You can see that's what he loves. You know what I mean? And then more than likely, if that's what you love, if you like flying planes, you might die in a plane, right? If you like driving cars, you might die in a car. If you like shooting guns, you might die by the guns. You don't know what's gonna what's gonna happen. And when it's all said and done, okay. But yeah, yeah, that street racing took him out, and I don't think he would want to go any other way, right? But I'm gonna show some of the balloon release and just a little bit of the videos of what went on the balloon release. Celebrating the memory of his life. Okay, so with no further ado, on time, on start time, we hit it outside. Off you was here.
Father, in the name of Jesus, as I stand tonight in this gathering, God, I pray for your comfort to be in this family's life, God. I pray tonight, God, that you will give his mother peace and rest and wipe away her tears, God. Wipe them and comfort her, God. Hold her in the palm of your hands, God. And siblings, God, and everyone that's connected to her, God. Those who will not see this Facebook team, God, YouTube, God, everyone, God. Do something mighty in this family, God. Father, we thank you tonight that, God, you will keep them and hold them. And whatever they need, Almighty God, you will provide for them. I pray for every young person that is here tonight, that God will protect you on the highways and the byways. And I decree over your life tonight that no weapon Jesus. As we are here tonight, we thank you for victory. We thank you for comforting us. We thank you for your blood. And tonight, preserve us, God. Tonight we declare in the blood, no more premature death. No more premature death. No more premature death. No more premature death. Like you know it. No more premature death. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, so this guy here, I think this is guy is Peppa or one of them, but that's one of his friends, I think, right? These are some of the guys that Nick was actually vlogging. Yeah.
Paying your bills on time raises your...
Okay. Yeah, so that's that one. But also in Jamaica, Nick actually did one, one for him. So I'm gonna play that as well. Okay. I'm gonna play that one as well. And this is Jamaica, right? This is Jamaica.
That is it. Yo, John Star. That is it. Yo. Oh. Huh? Let's take off some of them, man. Let's take off them balloons. Take off them balloons. Yo, skunkers, you see the real pro them. Yo, everybody start up on the car. Start up on the car. Alright.
accident, don't call an attorney.
Yeah, so that right there is the balloon release that took place in Jamaica for One Stack. You know, this guy is a legend, right? He started something that is gonna live on, right? You know, he's always gonna be remembered for what he did, right, in racing and just with a BMW, right, the B58 platform. He's gonna be remembered for that, right? You heard Nick said that he's the one that made him wanted to have a BMW, a B58, right? So he's inspired a lot of people both in Jamaica and also in the United States, in New York, in the Bronx, right? Another thing too is that shortly before, I mean, Weinstock was actually building a car in Jamaica, right? He had a Toyota Crown, right? That he was building in Jamaica because he was getting ready to come to Jamaica to, you know, hang out and go and, you know, kind of absorb the race culture in Jamaica, right? So he actually bought a car, hired somebody, and they were actually building, and he was actually actively shipping parts to Jamaica. So I'm gonna show that part of the video as well, because the guy Roland, and if you watch Asafa Powell sub 10 cars, you will know Roland, because Asafa Powell is always at Roland. For some reason, he's always taking his car to Roland to get something fixed, right? So you would have met Roland, and if you haven't met him through that, you met him through lifestyle settings or somebody, right? Roland is also a racer, right? He has an 8-second car, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he has an 8-second car as well, right? So I'm gonna show that part of the video as well.
Use this AI app instead. That's what I did, and it's how I got this 100,000.
Skunk lifestyle, one stop machine, you see them. Yo!
Yeah.
You brought one stop machine?
Yeah. Take it on that store and I say, yo, it's character.
Damn, bro, like, shit.
Tuesday, actually. Tuesday.
So surreal. So surreal.
We got some
Wifey. Touch it, see there? Don't leave me, man.
Yeah,
So, yeah, what was your encounter with One Stop?
Oh, God. It was just all about automotive, all about cars, music also, because he actually wanted to do music also, the One Stop music label.
Yeah.
I met One Stop with Skipper at the same time.
Yeah.
Skipper's supposed to be coming down here, so they'll wait for him. But yeah, he had good, instead of running, we're racing up in here, but we'll come Jamaica, just want some cruise and relax.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what?
So you convinced him to go crowd?
I didn't convince him to go. Yeah, at the end of the day, he said he wanted to know what a crow, what is it about a crow? You understand?
Yo, let me tell you something. The crown culture is born now, bro.
Yes.
I love a crown. I want a crown too.
It's a nice machine.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
So what you did to this one for you?
So what happened is a hybrid.
Yeah.
So we created a hybrid system for him. We were supposed to do a music system for him here because he wanted to retain the same.
So if you guys are so good at wholesale e-commerce, how come you don't just do it all yourself?
Yeah, so that's how we started. We did do it all ourselves, but at this scale,
Factory speaker system.
Yeah.
And you never want to subwoofer or nothing like that in the back. All I wanted everything was retained stock. And it was adamant, no check engine light.
Yeah.
On his car. So that's what we did. We cleaned it up and everything.
What year is this one?
This is a 16 or 15, somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But it drives really good. Brand new front end parts. He was supposed to ship out 4 tires this week.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to put a code rims.
Yeah, and the rims, he told me that he was going to go for it. So he was supposed to ship out 4 tires coming breakfast, and he was going to try this machine.
Such a nice, bro. Such a nice. So, yo, it's a one-stop machine, smokers. It's crazy. You know, it's a one-stop around this.
Yeah, oh, no, man.
That is it, man. See it, John. Rest in peace, legend. Well, it's a one-stop machine. That is it, man. John O'J. You never have to leave us so dog. John. Never have to leave us so. John O'Stan. Feel that way, reading and record this right now, smokers. Ah, God. Crazy.
Okay, and One Stock is also a friend of Skipper, the artist. So who know the artist Skipper? Yes, that's a friend of One Stock as well. So yeah, it's very it's a tragedy, but at the same time, as I said, he passed doing what he loves, right? And that's it, you know. R.I.P. again to One Stock. So I couldn't go on with this video without doing my little tribute to him, because it was somebody that I follow and I like following on YouTube, right? He has a YouTube channel himself too, right? And he's very inspiring to me as well, you know, because as I said, his demeanor was just so infectious, right? It was just so infectious. So R.I.P. One Stock. See? All right, let's get into some other matters. Yes, so sports. Yeah, so today is Sunday, so once again, you know, as you know, it's football Sunday. I like to watch my football, right? I didn't watch much today. I watched the game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens, right? I don't know if you ever watch sports and you're rooting for both teams, right? So I'm not too into my feelings today because I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. Why am I a Lamar Jackson fan? Because this guy was doubted so much, right? Coming into the league, they wanted to convert him to all kind of things. Running back, they wanted to play him left. They wanted him to play left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver, all kind of things, right? And he said, "Nope, I'm a quarterback," and he stuck to it. It's like, I'm a quarterback. That's all I'm gonna do. If you don't want me as a quarterback, then you don't want me at all. No, he's like the best quarterback in the league, right? He didn't play too well today, though. The Steelers had him bottled up, right? You know, he only completed like less. I think it's less than 50% of his pass attempts today. 207 yards, right? One interception, no touchdowns. The interception, though, you know, they credited to him, but to kind of explain it, he threw the ball to the wide receiver. The ball hit the wide receiver in his chest. He held on to it, but on his way to the ground, the defender yanked the ball from him. So, to further explain it, what a catch is in the NFL, right? And I'm talking to people who don't really know how this thing is, right? What a catch is that once you catch the ball, or the ball hit your palms, you have to make what you call a football move. That means you catch it, you cradle it, you are to go to the ground, right? And that's called a complete. And when your forearm is down, right, or your knees, or I want to say between your knees and your ankles, right? Once that touch the ground, you're considered down, right? It's a completed catch. or if you catch the ball and you make like 2 or 3 steps, or you catch the ball, you just take off running with. That's why they call it a completed catch. Otherwise, if you haven't shown that you fully cradle the ball, then it's a interception. No, it's a incomplete pass, right? So they got ball catch. The dude catch the ball. He was trying to make a football move. He was trying to go down. The defender yanked it out. They said he didn't really complete the catch. So since the guy yanked it out and kept it, no, it's an interception. So that interception was credited to Lamar Jackson, right? Or debited. I don't know, whichever way you want to say it, right? Because yeah, so it counted against him. Basically, you don't want to have interceptions. You want to have touchdowns. So he didn't throw any No, actually, he threw for 2 TDs. No, for 1 actually. He threw for 1 TD, right? To I think it's Aguilar. Yeah, Aguilar. He threw a TD to, right? So the score was pretty close. Steelers won 18 to 16. Baltimore Ravens scored 2 touchdowns. The Steelers kicked 3 field goals, 3 points each, right? So no, 6 field goals. Sorry, 3 points each. So they didn't score a touchdown. They just kicked field goals all game, and they actually won the game. So it was a defensive showing, in between those 2 teams. And it's kind of like what it normally is between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's always a dogfight. There was a lot of penalties, so the game was kind of sloppy because there was penalties everywhere, right? And you can see that the Steelers, they actually came out with a game plan, and I think it caught the Ravens off guard because their game plan was to get takeaways. Right, they wasn't just satisfied with just tackling, and yeah, they wasn't just satisfied with just tackling and bringing somebody down, right? They want to yank the ball. You would see they were swiping, they were yanking out the ball, so they would actually hold you up and try to yank the ball out, right? And that's what you call a fumble, right? That's basically what they were trying to do. Right? They want to get takeaways. They didn't come to just tackle and bring you down. And no, they want the ball back at every given time. Every single time they want the ball back, right? And you can tell that it was going to be a low-scoring game because how the Steelers were playing. They wasn't really trying to get a touchdown. They were playing really safe. You could see that Russell Wilson, he wasn't trying to sling it out there that much. He threw a couple of those moon balls. Some of them, got caught, by his receivers, but he wasn't doing too much, right? They were just trying to complete first down and get into field goal range and kick field goals so they can actually win the game, right? They were playing it safe. And the difference why I think the Steelers won this game is because Russell Wilson has been a part of a lot of these games, especially when he was playing with Seattle. Right? The difference with Baltimore, though, they are going to score a ton of points, right? Which I think is kind of their Achilles heel because when the game is close, Lamar Jackson don't do that well. I think he loses cool. He gets really tight when the game is close, and that's why I think he lost the AFC Championship against the Kansas City Chiefs because the game was close. But he need to understand that, especially when he gets down to the playoffs, the game you're not gonna blow. You might blow somebody out in like your wild card game because that team is no good. That's why you're a wild card. But when you get to the better teams, like the division, the divisional games, right, and the AFC game and the NFC games, right. Right, those games are normally close and it's normally low scoring because it's a dogfight, right? And I think he gets rattled when it comes to that, right? If you watch the Super Bowls, right? The Super Bowls are not really high scoring either. Those are normally low scoring games. As a matter of fact, who can remember the 07 Patriots, right? They ran through everybody. They went 16-0 because I know it's 17 games, but back then it was 16 games in the regular season, right? They only lost one game through that whole season. Even in the playoffs, they only one lost game, and guess what it was? The Super Bowl. They got beat by the Giants. I think it's 17 to like less than 17, right? They ran into Eli Manning at the time because Eli Manning snuck up on everybody at that time because they were a wild card and they ran the table, right? And they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, the bearded Patriots, because everybody in the Patriots, I guess that was the kind of team camaraderie thing at the time. Everybody, including Tom Brady. If you've never seen Tom Brady with a beard, go back to that game, the Super Bowl, right? Or the season, the '07 season, right? That's when, the '07 season. That's when Tom Brady had a big beard. Everybody on the team has a beard, right? And Randy Moss was playing for the Patriots at the time, and they ran through everybody, right? They like Tom Brady was throwing like 500 yards in the snow. That's how lethal they were. But they beat everybody all the way up to the Super Bowl. They went 18-0 all the way up to the Super Bowl and lost it. The one game that they're supposed to go 19-0, they lost. Right? So those games are normally tight games, and I think with between Russell Wilson, I was rooting for Russell Wilson because I think they were trying to can his career, and he resurrected it. That last year that he played in Denver for the Denver Broncos, and then he came to the Steelers. He had to sit for a little bit because he got hurt, and then it was widely debated as to who is he going to be the starter, or is Justin Fields is going to remain the starter. The coach decided to put him in, and he's now 4-0, right, as a starter, right, and Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-2, right? So they're playoff bound, and this was a division rival game, and they're trying to see who is going to be the number 1/number 2 seed. The Steelers beat the Ravens, so even if the Ravens win, if it comes down to a toss-up between the Ravens and the Steelers are going to get the nod as the division leader because they beat the Ravens, right? So Ravens is now fell to 7-4. Pittsburgh advanced to 8-2, and still is the number 1 team in that division, right? I think it's the AFC. I think it's the AFC North. I think. Don't quote me on that, right? But I think it's the AFC North. Yeah. Right, but it was a hard fought game. It was a really good game. You have to sit there and watch the entire game because it was that close, right? But they bottled up Lamar. He wasn't running around. He wasn't throwing darts today because there wasn't really nobody to throw to. Well, the thing is that he was throwing balls and balls hitting people in their chest, and they were dropping it. So it's not like he didn't try. You know what I mean? He there was a ball that hit what's his name, Flowers, in his chest, right? And that was a ball that was thrown so they can he was actually in first down range, right? And there was a lot of plays that got called back because there was a lot of offensive illegal shifting on the offense. There was a lot of holding calls. There was a lot of whole bunch of stuff. So there was a lot of big throws that he made that came back. He actually made he threw a moon ball I think it's to the 10-yard line. It got caught, and then it came back because of penalties, right? So this game was riddled with penalties, right? But I think that's what that was part of the Steelers' game plan to kind of bait them into catching a lot of penalties, committing fouls, right? And getting a lot of penalties. So Steelers came away with the win. I'm not mad. Um, um, I Steelers are gonna be in the playoff, but I don't think they're gonna go too far, right? I want it to happen for Russell Wilson, but I don't think it's gonna be. And here's the reason why I don't think it's gonna happen, right? Yeah, they're really good on defense, but their offense leaves a lot to be desired, right? Russell Wilson is throwing up a lot of 50-50 balls, right? Because his wide receivers, they can't get separation, right? Most of the balls he throws to Pickens, right? Pickens is a really good wide receiver. He's gonna catch most of them, but I want to say it's 50-50. Some of those balls is gonna get picked off, right? Especially when you're playing in the playoffs, right? Some of those 50-50 balls is gonna get picked off. Nobody's gonna just lay there and what you throw moon balls and Pickens just run underneath it or go snatch it away from somebody, right? And the games are going to be more physical. You know what I mean? The refs is not going to call the game the same way they call in the regular season, right? So a lot of those 50-50 balls, right? Some of them is going to get picked off. They don't have nobody to blow the top off the defense. You know what I mean? Like a Tyreek Hill, like a speedster who can blow the top off the defense, and gain, like separation, right? Like a Jamar Chase or as I said, a Tyreek Hill esque type of player. They only have two big wide receiver out there, and like Mike Williams, and now you have Pickens, right? Who's a really good receiver, but them 50-50 balls is not going to work, and you guys are not running the ball well either, right? So I think that they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to make some noise, but they're not going to go too far. Anyway, moving on. Chiefs, they actually have their first loss. They lost to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen finally got the better of Josh Allen finally got the better of his nemesis, Patrick Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes will beat him so bad all the time, right? So he finally got the better of him, right? So they fell to 9-1, and the Buffalo Bills advanced to 9-2, right? Yeah, it was a pretty good game. However, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is playing well. I see him mixing a lot of throws and throwing like dumb interceptions, right? So I didn't really watch much of that game. It was on, but I didn't really watch it. I was doing other things. But I see the first interception by Patrick Mahomes. I saw that, right? The rest of it was just highlights. The Sunday night game, the Chargers beat the Cincinnati Bengals, which was a shootout again. I mean, whenever you're playing against Joe Burrow, it's gonna be a shootout, right? You can just put shootout beside the Cincinnati games, right? Because Joe Burrow is over there, right? But then the Chargers, they have Justin Herbert, right? Who is a really good quarterback as well. So they went up like 20 something, like I think it was like 27, it was 27-3, Yeah, 27-3. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, behind Joe Burrow, they came storming back, right? And then the Bengals could have won, but they missed like things like three field goals back to back to back. And I'm like, those freaking Joe Burrow has to go kick this ball himself. Like, what else do you want the guy to do? The only thing he doesn't have to do is catch the ball because you have T Higgins and you have Jamar Chase, you know, catching the ball. They're really good, right? And they have a couple tight ends that are catching the ball pretty good. But otherwise, Joe Burrow got to do everything else. He got to go make the tackles. He got to go run the ball. He got to throw the ball, right? And obviously he has to go kick the field goals too, because this kicker can't kick field goals at all. That's what caused them to lose the game between them and uh, that's what caused them to lose the game against Baltimore Ravens last week, right? That one was a shootout. Lamar Jackson threw for what, 5 touchdowns? No, 4 touchdowns. Joe Burrow threw for 400. Oh, I think 408 yards, right? Lamar Jackson threw for 290 and 4 touchdowns, and the Ravens won the game, right? Derrick Henry iced it with a touchdown run. I think it was a 1 yard touchdown run, or a couple yards, right? But I don't know what else. I don't know what else y'all want Joe Burrow to do. He's doing everything else. Somebody needs. Who is gonna do their job? You know what I mean? Like, dang. Yeah, but that one was a shootout, and Chargers came away with it. Right, they now advance to, I think it's 7-4, if I'm not mistaken. Right, because they were 6-4, and they won this game, so now they're 7-4, so they're doing pretty good, right? Yeah, there's a lot more games that I could talk about, but those are the ones I'm going to talk about right now. Um, yeah, there was not really any other games that really interested me, to be honest with you, right? The Eagles played Thursday night, right, and they won. Um, they beat Washington, right? Um, yeah, Miami won their game as well. Um, yeah, Tua came back and he's playing with, at least he's putting up points. Now they just need to stop somebody, right? They're scoring the points. They just need defense to do their job, and they can win some games. But they won today. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about my Raiders. Yeah, but that's it. Um, Other news in sports: Jamaica for the Concacaf. I think it's the quarterfinals. Yeah, Jamaica lost 1-0 to the U.S. They had a full stack. Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, and the whole 9 yard, and they lost. They missed Damari Gray missed a crucial penalty, right? Um, I think they should have just make um, Nicholson score shoot that penalty. I mean, he earned it. They should have let him shoot that penalty. You know what I mean? Leon Bailey or somebody else. But not or Bobby. What do you call it? De Cordova Reed. He's normally the guys who take their penalties, right? Penalties is not easy. Right? You gotta have nerves of steel, right? Not saying Damar Gray don't have nerves of steel, but it's not easy, right? You need somebody who with composure to take that penalty, right? And who can remain calm under pressure. penalties or pressure. It's a pressure situation, right? Um, yeah, but Jamaica lost that game, right? So, and that game was at home too. So once again, we failed to um, discipline our northern, a counterpart. Um, yeah, but that's that on on sports. Other news, right? Well, not so much news anymore, right? But I haven't talked about it, so it's news. Whomever is gonna join in on my channel, right? But um, Donald Trump won the presidency. What the hell? What the hell? Let's see. Yeah, yeah. But Donald Trump won the presidency. Kamala Harris lost pretty badly. As a matter of fact, the Democrats lost pretty badly, right? And a lot of people are in their feelings about it. You know, I'm not. I just know somebody was gonna win and somebody was gonna lose at the end of the day. And whomever wins, you just gotta work with it, right? Um, uh, um, yeah, but they lost everything. They lost the House and they lost the Senate, and they lost their shoes and their pants and their purse and everything else, right? This was a rebuke. This was a rebuke of the Democrat Party. You hear me? This was a rebuke of the Democrat Party, right? And it was a rebuke of CNN and MSNBC and all them people who were propping up Kamala Harris, telling people that she's in the lead and the polls and all that stuff. And some of them polls are just fake polls, man. You know what I mean? So whomever was getting their hopes up based on polls, fake polls or real polls, but not so true polls. You know what I mean? Here comes the moment of truth, right? The moment there's only one true poll, right? And that's when all the votes are counted, right? And that's your real poll right there. And Kamala lost. I wanted her to win. One, she's a Jamaican, right? So I want her to win, right? But she lost. So we just got to live with the results. But it's not only that she lost, it was a resounding loss. And it was also because Donald Trump also won the popular vote, something that a Republican hasn't done, Republican Party hasn't done in a long time, right? Aeons ago, right? Well, a long time, decades. They haven't won the popular vote, and he won the popular vote. So that was a rebuke of her, and it was not so much a rebuke of her; it was a rebuke of the Democrat Party and whatever they stand for, right? So they need to sort themselves out, right? And I said in another video before, they need to come to the people and tell the truth. Yeah, I did something behind the scenes that people caught wind of, or people kind of read between the lines. That last general election, you know, um, y'all did something. You know what I mean? I know y'all at what you would call it at odds with Donald Trump and whatever y'all think he did or said he did, right? Or whatever he did, but you can't use foul measures to combat that. And you did some foul things as well. And you need to come clean to the people. The people are no fool, and you're gonna keep losing like that um, if you don't fess up to the people. Make it right. You know what I mean? Make it right. People are not stupid, right? Y'all did something wrong, right? Y'all did something wrong, and y'all needed to come tell the people what you did, right? The election wasn't rigged, in the way that a lot of people think it was rigged. All are the way a lot of people say it was rigged, right? The election was rigged in other ways, right? The election was rigged in other ways. It wasn't rigged in people burying dead people voting and people stealing ballot boxes and all the nonsense that they put out there, right? To me, it was rigged. In my opinion, it was rigged in terms of what they kept from the public, right? The Democrats, they buried some truth, especially as it relates to Hunter Biden, right? They buried some truth and they were silencing people left, right, and center. And if they let certain truths come out, I don't think the people would have voted that way, the way they voted in the 2020 election, right? They were able to commandeer, the people at Twitter, people at Facebook, and other social media platforms to bury some vital information that if it make it public, if those information make it public, and this is just in my opinion, right? If those information made it public, people would have voted a different way. And not all of them, probably a lot of people would have voted the same way, but some would have changed their mind, right? And to me, it was rigged in that regard, in that way. So people wasn't stupid, right? If something doesn't go like that, it almost go like that. In Jamaica, we say, if you're not gossa, near gossa. If it doesn't go like that, it almost go like that. You know what I mean? People are not dumb. So people were just sitting by the wayside, just watching, rocking back in their chair, ready to go make a vote against y'all, right? So, yeah, do the right thing, fess up to the people, right? Yeah, fess up to the people. Yeah. So that's that as it relates to the election. Um, they're threatening. Well, it's reported that they're threatening mass deportation, and a lot of people are nervous. If they're gonna get deported, right? And even if you're naturalized, like myself here, you can get denaturalized, right? You can get denaturalized, and so, but if you're scared, go talk to a immigration lawyer, right? Um, what the naturalization is kind of hard, right? It's kind of difficult to turn back, right? Yeah, and a couple of reasons why what I learned, right? And I learned this through Reason with Ratigan program, right? He had a lawyer. He is an immigration lawyer himself, and he had another lawyer. Um, on there, and they were discussing it. And a couple other ways that you can get denaturalized is if you are is if you is if you join a terrorist group. And if you join a terrorist group, and that's within 5 years of you getting naturalized, right? You can, yeah, if you join a terrorist group within 5 years, if you get naturalized, you can become, you can get denaturalized and sent back to wherever you're from. But they can't just send you, but the United States, Canada, and Britain, and all these big countries, Australia, these are due process countries. So they're not gonna just pick you up and just take you and throw you in a cage and then ship you back somewhere. No, it doesn't work like that. Even if they come to you and say, "Hey, look, we're gonna take back your green card or whatever," or even if they pick you up, you're illegal. You still have to have due process, right? Because a lot of things got to happen. Your country that you're gonna go back to have to say that they want you back too, right? They have to claim you, and they have to give consent to them sending you. They can't just send you back there, right? But another way is if you join the military and you got dishonorable discharge, you can get denaturalized, right? And a couple other reasons. Well, one of them is if you join a terrorist group and it's beyond the 5 year threshold, but they want you to testify, with your activities or the activities of the terrorist group, and you refuse to, then you get denaturalized, right? Or denaturalization proceedings will take place, right? Because once again, it's due process. You know what I mean? You can fight whatever they come at you with, right? So for those who are worried, there it is, right? But otherwise, go talk to an immigration lawyer. I'm not an immigration lawyer. I'm just shared some information that I gathered from other sources, right? Really good sources, but still, yeah. So that's that as it relates to the election and what's to come. We don't know what's to come. We don't know what's gonna happen. We just gotta just wait and see, right? Um, and roll with the punches, right? You know, and we'll see if what they're making this guy out to be is what he really is. Maybe not. Who knows, right? He was a president before, and then he's a president again. So who knows what's gonna happen, right? Maybe the economy is just gonna take off and steam up again. Who knows? Or maybe not, right? Uh, maybe King Jong Un probably gonna visit America. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen, right? And what kind of relationship he's gonna forge with who, right? Maybe Putin come over here to sit down and have a talk. You know what I mean? Or he go back over there. Who knows, right? Uh, uh, we just gotta wait and see, right? The Democrat is not putting up a fight. It's their fight to put up if they want to put up a fight, but they're not putting up a fight. It's peaceful transfer of power, this, as they say, right? So um, that's that. Um, another moving from the American politics now, we're going to Jamaica, right? Follow me to Jamaica, right? Isat Buchanan, right? He is nominated to serve or as the um, caretaker, if you will, right? Or the candidate, the PNP candidate for East Portland, right? And he's gonna go up against Anne Marie Vaz, right? Which is the wife of um, what's his name? Anyway, he's the wife of the other Vaz, who's in Parliament, right? Um, he hit the ground running. You know, he actually moved to Portland. He had a concert, not a concert, but a conference. You know, to inaugurate him as the candidate um, last Sunday, and it was packed. The entire square was packed, loaded with people. Right? It was loaded with people, and yeah, I'm rooting for him. I like Isaac. You know, I like what he stands for. Right? I think he is the epitome. You know, and you can put him up against anywhere in the world, not just Jamaica. He's the epitome. Is the epitome of redemption. A guy who at 17 years old, 17 years of age, you know, got caught with drugs in Jamaica, got arrested, right? Came out, traveled to the United States, got caught with drugs again, served 10 years, you know, federal prison, right? Got deported back to Jamaica, went to law school, got his license, became a lawyer, um, um, and became a defense lawyer slash a civil rights lawyer. And there's many civil rights issue. And if you want to find out, you can go look up his bio. You'll see it. But the leader of the PNP party spoke about some of the civil rights issue that he had to employ ISAT services for, and he was very successful. As a matter of fact, I think ISAT has not lost a case against the government yet. Don't quote me on it, but I think he's yet to lose a case against against the Jamaican government, right? He beat him pretty bad, and then we all know the ultimate, the biggest case is, well, the most the case that he gained the most. All right, let me rephrase this. The most notable case, right, is the Vibes Cartel and his co-accused case. He got a lot. He got him and his co-accused freed from prison, right? He got their their convictions quashed, and ultimately an acquittal was ruled at the Jamaican uh, appellate court, highest appellate court, and now they are out without criminal convictions. They're scot free. Okay, you can't arrest them and charge them again for the same crime, right? Even if they come out and say, "Hey, we actually did it," you can't take him back to court, and you can't charge him for the same crime. That would be double jeopardy. And Jamaica is a democratic state, uh, so that can't happen. I don't believe they did it. You know, I just don't believe they did it. You know what I mean? Especially when I sat interview this digital evidence, forensic evidence person, and he said if they had hired him initially, they would never spend a day in jail, right? So I was wondering what were those lawyers doing the first time to know that, hey, look, there's video evidence used against your clients. Why not get somebody to examine those video evidence? And that's what he did. I started hired him to do a forensic on the videos, and he found that those videos were bogus, right? They were flawed, to say the least, right? So, and even the phone records, he looked at the phone records that they used to convict them, and he found flaws in that too, right? So, yeah, I don't think they did anything. I don't think they did it. To be honest with you, me personally, I don't think they did it. But yeah, that's the most notable case, and there's many other civil rights. Even the girl that was stopped from going to school, um, because of her dreadlocks, he won that case for her as well, and he brought the government to court for illegally, um, uh, and when I say the government, I'm talking about the Andrew Holness led government, right? Because the government is also is the Jamaica Liberal Party, and their elected people in the House of Representatives, right? As well as the People's National Party and their elected people in the House of Representatives. So all of them come together and shape laws, right? In the House of Representatives, that's where they voted on the bills to become laws, right? Um, the Senate though is appointed by the sitting prime minister. So that's your Senate, right? And then you have shadow ministers who are appointed in the Senate as well, by the opposition, right? And then you have the judiciary, right, which is the courts and whomever play their part over there, right? Um, yeah, but the Andrew Holness led government, they do a lot of state of emergency as a crime fighting tool. ISAT took him to court and won to the to I think it's the Supreme Court actually, in one of those cases, right? So he's a warrior as it relates to civil rights, right? So I'm rooting for him. You know, he redeemed himself. Another person that is similar to is Shine, the rapper, right? Who in the early 2000s, I can remember when he had the mega hit with Barrington Levy, right? And I thought it was um, Notorious B.I.G. at the time because they sound the same, right? I was like, man, I thought that guy died. Did he? Was it a conspiracy that he died? Like, why is he still singing? Only to realize it was Shine, right? But he went to prison, served 10 years in prison for a shooting incident that is associated with himself and P Diddy back in the early 2000s, right? Or I think it's 19 in the 99. He was 19 years of age at the time, I think, and he went to prison. He got deported to Belize, and now he's the opposition leader in the Senate, vying to become the prime minister of Belize, who is actually doing better than Jamaica in their overall GDP per capita. By the way, I think GDP their GDP is a lot less than Jamaica. I think it's like three point something billion. Jamaica has about $20 billion in GDP. But when you work it out, it's about six it's about 6,000 and change. It's about 6,000 and change for GDP in Jamaica, GDP per capita in Jamaica, and in Belize it's a little bit over 7,000. So they're outpacing us as it relates to um, GDP per capita. But yeah, Shine, he redeemed himself, right? He got deported. He took it. He didn't cry over it. You know what I mean? Probably he did, but he got over it and he asserted himself. And now he's the lead opposition leader in the House of Representatives, vying to become the next prime minister of of um, of Belize, right? And I kind of mirror that with with what happened with ISAT, right? And if anything, I would say ISAT did a little bit more because he actually did a lot of stuff as a really in law, right? But I can't even say that either because I'm not too keen on what Shine did as it relates to his work in government, right? A lot of people are calling the placement of ISAT in East Portland as the PNP candidate as political expediency. Why? Because of his popularity, right? He's a very popular guy. But I said no, that's not political expediency, and here's why. Right? ISAT hasn't won anything in politics as of yet. He hasn't proven himself to be a winner as it relates to politics, right? So you can't call that political expediency what he's at. There's no guarantee that he's gonna win. It's not like he locked down anywhere. It's not like he locked down that particular political that particular constituents for years or decades as some other people, right? Um, or he locked down another constituency for decades, and he's really good at campaigning and winning elections, right? Um, he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done that yet. So you can't say that that's political. I just think that's just grabbing for straws, right? Political expediency, though, is what happened in South Carolina with um, Marissa Darwimple, right? She has that place locked down for a number of years, decades, if I think, right? And she got caught up on some charges with the Integrity Commission, and before the charges are over, she was reinstated, renominated by the Jamaica Labour Party to represent them in that constituency, right? That's political expediency because she's a proven winner as it relates to politics, right? She has won that constituency for a number of years. So you put her back in the same place, there's a strong chance that she's gonna win and maintain that seat for you. So that's political expediency. What, on the other hand, Isaac hasn't proven himself to be a winner. He looks like he will do well if he win, but we don't know if he's gonna win yet. So you cannot call that political expediency. And then as it relates to integrity, I would take Isa any day over her because, as I said in a previous video, she's a grown woman making dumb decisions, right? Most of Isa bad decisions was made when he was a young man, before he was 25, before his brain was fully developed. So you could naturally say he wasn't of a sound mind, right? Right? He wasn't processing thoughts like he's processing thoughts now, right? And making decisions. And he's not he in recent history he don't have those. He hasn't shown to be making bad judgment, right? A lot of people would say what he said about the DPP, which he said the people to go, the DPP should suck a dick, what he said, right? But she probably sucked dicks. Who knows? Right? I don't know. She probably does. I'm probably like it too. So to me, that's not that's. I mean, it's that old colonial thought process in Jamaica. Like sucking dicks is just, like women sucking dicks nowadays is normal, right? So, I mean, it was always done, but I mean, it is not that taboo as it relates to Jamaica anymore, right? So, I don't see that as unbecoming either, right? And he probably says that he probably didn't say that as a lawyer. He said that in his private capacity. He was on a show, by the way, in his private capacity, right? So it's not like he went to the court and say, "Hey, you DPP go suck a dick." No, he was on a show, and anything goes on a show, on a live show, right? He was in his private capacity, right? Um, that's when he made those. That's when he made those remarks. So I don't see that as unbecoming. A lot of people would say that's bad judgment. I don't see it as that. You know what I mean? What I don't hear is that he steal, as a lawyer, he steal people's money and steal people's land. I heard that about the other person I just described, right? So there you go with the integrity stuff, right? Um, um, yeah, and I do hope he wins, right? I do hope he wins because I think he will do a really good job, right? And he will communicate with the people a lot better. Whether he does well or he fails at something, he will communicate better to the people so the people can, in a way that people can understand, right? And even if they give him a hard time for it, that he may, in which he may have may have deserved or would be deserving of, right? At least you can trust that he will, right? In my opinion, right? And as opposed to like Andrew Holness, who just lie about everything. You can't even know what this guy is really, what's true from what's not. You know what I mean? It seems like everywhere he stops is a different lie, right? If he's talking, he will be talking about one thing, and he made 3 stops, and each 3 stops he made, he tell a lie about that same thing. Habitual liar. And the fact that and you can tell that he actually believed his lie. And the fact that the 28 bank account and the charity slash not a charity, because he has a charity that he collected money for and he's spending it for himself or investing it for himself, but at the same time claiming that it's not a charity. And I'm like, well, you open up yourself to more litigation, even civil litigation, because now people who may have donated money are gonna be like, hey, you told me it was a charity, man, you frauded me. I didn't know you was gonna invest it for yourself. At least give me some of the dividends or whatever. You know what I mean? Or give me back my money with dividends, with interest, because you made some money on top of what I gave you. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm gonna sue you for this amount. You know? And he may face many lawsuits for that. Who knows? Or maybe that those monies gonna come from good sources. Who knows? You can't believe the guy. So you don't even know who's giving money. You can't trust who's giving him money out because he just lies, right? So I'm not really PNP. I'm not. I don't belong to the People's National Party. I don't belong to the Jamaica Labour Party. I don't belong to the UIC. Right? I'm just a concerned Jamaican, and I know phony when I see it. Right? I know phony when I see it. And Andrew Holness is phony, and most of them over there is phony because they condone him. Right? And a lot of them are taking part in a lot of shenanigans too. Right? And a lot of them are out in front with it. You know? So I don't like that, and I'm speaking up about that. And I will continue to speak up about that. Right? So I hope ISUP win and take that seat. And you know, the People's National Party may be more of the same, but it's time for a change, right? And there's nobody else viable. The UIC, but they're not viable because they don't have their structure. They don't have their party structure all together yet. Otherwise, I would have said, hey, put them in there. See what they do. If it's even a cockroach right now, give them a chance. As long as they have the structure together. You know, if some ants decide they're gonna crawl up right now and put a decent structure, party structure together, give them a chance. You know what I mean? That's what I'm for. But not more to say. You know, not more to say. So, yeah, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for the rest of the night. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. Like the channel, right? Or like the video. Subscribe to the channel and follow my progress. Thank you.